Grand Soleil 44 today.
Yep.
This is a nice one.
It was. Very nice boat.
This is, feels to me, and you're going to be leading the charge as you're the more experienced sailor out of the two of us. This is a boat for someone with experience, someone who wants performance, and obviously someone who wants something really beautiful.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is, it could be, but it wouldn't normally be your first boat or your first yacht. But yeah, this really ticks a lot of boxes for, you know, racing or performance cruising.
Yep. So this is the detailed tour. We're going to be going right through this boat, guys. If you want to see how she sails, we've already done that. That video is up on the channel page. She sails beautifully. Really a lot of fun. Andrew gave us some useful, I learned a bit too. So I'm enjoying watching through the drone as we do these videos, because you'll hopefully too benefit from some of Andrew's knowledge. So let's get cracking.
Okay.
You're leading the charge. I'm going to try and put myself in your shoes behind the camera there, sitting at home, and ask some of the questions that maybe a professional sailor is not going to think to ask, and maybe some of the more mum and dad sailors, which is, to be fair, me, are going to ask, and I'll try and pitch them to you.
No, good idea, because you know sometimes you get so used to just talking about the stuff that's important to you.
Yeah.
You forget there's a greater audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's crack on.
So let's starting at the bow. We've got the optional bowsprit. This is the standard optional bowsprit. They also do a longer bowsprit, mainly for ORC racing, where the rule penalises spinnaker poles. So they make the bowsprit longer so you can put a bigger Jenica on.
Right.
But it's really quite a specialised option. This works fine for the sailing we do here in Australia, and it's also the right length for the IRC rule, which is our local rule, and also popular in most parts of the world. The standard boat comes with an underdeck furler, which is located where this pad-eye is. The owner of this boat, when they spec'd it, wanted to race, so they've gone for the optional racing forestay, which goes all the way out to the stem of the boat, which means you get about another 350, 400 millimetres of J measurement. Gives you bigger headsails and more power.
A bit more power.
Yep. So yeah, you can see that set up here. Instead of having the weight of a furler, we've got a rod forestay and a plastic foil. So that gives you much better performance. So that's a nice feature. Good solid bow rails that comply with the local safety requirements for the clearance through between the rail and the forestay. Because it's a racing setup, we've got twin Tylaska clips for the jibs. As we move aft, we're seeing this more and more. Pop-up cleats, which is nice. So when you're racing, they're not in the way. As we move further aft, we get to our anchor locker. And so we can see here, we've got a nice deep locker with a windlass, handheld remote, which has been removed. That's always good because you don't want that getting wet with salt water. It makes all the connectors corrode.
What about the fact that you can't actually visually sight the bow roller and the anchor on this particular setup? Any disadvantages or advantages?
Not really, Dan, because in the real world, when you're using it, you'll have the control in your hand.
Yep.
And you'll generally be bracing yourself and watching the anchor come up from one of the sides.
Sure.
So you're just basically leaning out, saying, "Oh yeah, it's all clear."
Yep.
The anchor roller is well forward.
Yep.
And that keeps it clear of the stem, so you're not going to damage your gel coat, which is a nice touch.
Yep.
One nice thing here, we've also got a sail locker, and that sail locker, is a decent size. So from a safety point of view, we've got a collision bulkhead here where the chain locker is, and we've got another collision bulkhead here where the sail locker is. So it's a nice safety feature. So if you did ever have a really bad collision with the bow, you've got two bulkheads.
You hopefully won't sink the thing.
And then and then inside the sail locker is a dedicated bilge pump to keep that area dry. So yeah, really well thought out. A couple of steps to help you get down and up, which is a nice touch. And this is solid enough you can actually stand on it when you're using the anchor.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, moving aft. We've got our spinnaker pole foreguy or kicker, depends on what part of the world you live in and what you call it. So that controls our spinnaker pole tension and height. This is the opening hatch which goes into the owner's cabin. It's an option from the factory to actually make this open 180 degrees. So you can open it all the way down to here. So when you're racing and you're dropping your spinnaker or your gennaker, you're not going to catch it on the hatch. Most hatches only open to 90 degrees, which means it's really hard to pull a spinnaker down. You're probably going to tear it or rip the hatch off. So this is certainly something you would do if you're racing the boat.
And from a bowman's perspective, I like this tow rail here all the way forward. This is a nice, safe bow to operate
It is, and that tow rail extends the full length of the yacht.
Yeah.
So it's a nice feature, even for the guys who are trimming or when you're scampering across the deck in attack.
Yeah.
It gives you a good footing. Nice non-skid here.
Yeah.
Not too abrasive, but it's got enough grip on it to really give you a safe footing.
Yeah.
So as we move aft, we've got 2 more opening hatches, and these are in the owner's cabin or the forward cabin. That one will go into the head, and this one is into the cabin.
Looks like they open forward for ventilation on anchor.
Yeah, which is nice because at anchor, that's the way you're going to be laying, head to wind. We've got the self-tacking jib track here, and that if you're setting the boat up for cruising, you know, this makes life really easy. A small design feature that we learnt of with the boat is all of these channels for our control lines.
Yep.
Actually, they run forward, so they've got a slope on them, so all the water runs forward and then down the side decks.
Oh, so it acts like a drain.
And it doesn't pool, which is a nice touch.
Cool.
All of our
Then you won't get those streaks down your gel coat.
exactly. So all of our control lines are based around the business centre of the yacht. This boat is set up with the optional athwartship racing track system.
Yep.
And so what that does is it allows us to move the car in and out, depending on the wind conditions. In and out is controlled by this line, and we can also move the car up and down to control our sheeting angle. So everything runs back to the cockpit. So for the trimmers, they've got every control they could ever use. If you don't go for this option, the standard configuration is with a track here, and that's what this high point is here. So there's just a track bolted into the deck.
Okay.
Our main sheet is the German system, and it runs along the boom, comes down here, and then runs aft back to the mainsail trimmer. So even though there's a lot going on, it's quite a clean setup. We've got a Palga composite, carbon composite fang, which is nice. It gives you the ability to support the weight of the boom. But the main thing is when you're reefing, the boom can't drop down and hurt someone or hit the wheels. So everything runs aft, as we can see. They've got the Garmin mast displays for the B&G instrument system, so that's nice. We've got a lot of information there.
Yep.
And that's that really helps the helms people, the trimmers, the tactician, the navigator. They can get all the information that they could possibly want. And as it says here on the side, no step. It's made out of carbon fibre.
You'll break it.
It's not supposed to be stepped on. But they put a sign there just in case.
And you've got a couple of mast steps.
Yep, which is handy.
These
yep.
black ones,
Yep.
so it's all possible.
Yeah, exactly. So if you end up with the luff cars living on the mast,
Yep.
you can climb up to get your head car on.
Yep.
These guys actually drop all the cars out of the mast because they're racing,
Yep.
and that means they can flake the mainsail nicely on the boom with no creases.
Yep.
Continue our way aft. This boat has the carbon fibre mast for racing, and it comes with rod rigging. The standard aluminium mast comes with wire rigging, so this is a much nicer option because it helps you. You don't get the stretch you do with wire. So when you set the mast up, this doesn't stretch as much, and you can control your rig more carefully.
I notice how both of the rods end at the same point, whereas on another boat we're on the other day, they split the loads. Any pros or cons, or is it just a different system?
Oh, look, it's horses for courses.
Right.
The Grand Soleil 46 LC, the long cruise,
Yeah.
it's a cruising boat. And so what they had was the cap shroud going down to the gunnel,
Yeah.
where the hull and the deck support that load. They moved the diagonal, the D1,
To here.
inboard, and then they had a tie rod, a big solid stainless steel tie rod, like 4 times bigger than the stay,
Easily.
that went from the deck down to the hull.
Yeah.
And what that allowed was you didn't have this D1 in the way. It came down like this, and you
Yeah.
could walk straight through.
Yeah.
That said, we've got really wide side decks here, and good access all the way through. So
Yeah.
it's not a real issue. Also, with a racing boat, it's all about the geometry of the mast
Right.
and the rigging. We're trying to get side support on the on the mast tube.
Yep.
If we move these inboard, we're putting more compression on the tube
Right.
than side support.
Okay.
As we can splay the angle out, we're getting more support laterally.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so as we can see here, we've got dual jammers on either side. So all of our controls come after the cockpit, which is a nice touch. These are all of our main controls: our spinnaker pole downhaul or foreguy or kicker, jib up and down, our boom vang, and then this is our jib in and out.
It's pretty clean with a lot of these banks going below decks, though.
Yeah, and look, one nice touch too is with this yacht, the jib sheet, which is here, it actually runs through the deck and then comes out here straight onto the primary.
Yeah.
So what we found when we were sailing today is we didn't have the jib, no one was standing on the jib sheet. It couldn't get caught on anything. Yeah. So that works really neatly.
You didn't have the bum cleat is what you're referring to.
The human cleat, yeah, or as we call it in Australia, the bum cleat. So yeah, looking at our pit area, this boat's been optioned up with a powered winch here, and that works really nicely because we can use that to pull our mainsail up.
Yep.
And we can also have our jib halyard on it.
Yep.
So that works nicely. A couple of nice inclusions. They put these diverters here. And what these allow us to do is, if this winch is in action and it's not free, so we've got the Genoa halyard on it, we can't take it off because the clutch won't hold the load, we can take another halyard across and divert it onto here. So these are designed to take those loads.
Yeah.
Never, ever take the halyard across like that because you'll break the clutch.
And would you just pull it out of the deck, would you?
Yep.
Or
So one of the boats we sailed recently, someone had led a line like that and they'd actually broken the clutch.
Yep. Bummer. Okay.
So yeah, it's just always think about it. If you're not sure, speak to a more experienced sailor or your boat broker.
Exactly.
Really nice wide cockpit here. These washboards are quite neat. They actually live in position and you can just drop them down. They have two positions, three positions, sorry. Fully up, halfway down, which means you can still have access to the boat but stop the water coming in, and then all the way down.
Makes life easy so you don't have to find somewhere to stow them.
Exactly.
I like the angles here. Like if you are in cruising mode, it's all very comfortable. It's a bloody gorgeous boat, this, from every angle. But
sorry, Dan, what's cruising mode? I don't understand.
Of course.
What is this cruising mode you speak of?
Let me educate you.
Oh, please teach me.
It's called drinking and boating.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So continuing on, our main sheet runs aft to this winch here. This boat has got the powered main sheet winches on either side. And what's neat is there's a clutch here for the main sheet. So if you want to use this winch for another purpose, you can clutch your main sheet off, free the winch.
Yep.
And then you've got another active winch. So you know, on a longer race, you might actually put a sheet on there, and then you've got a powered winch.
Sure.
But you know, on most race boats, you run out of winches. So another point of difference with this boat, the standard yacht comes with two winches located here. The racing version has another set of winches for the Genoas and another set of halyard winches. So depending on what you're doing, they'll configure the boat to suit your needs.
But the main sheet and trimmer is right next to the helmsman, good communication, everything within easy reach. And look at my viz.
Exactly.
Like, I can see everything.
Yep. No, that works really well. This boat has got the standard main traveller system. They now offer an electric main traveller system.
Oh, yep.
Which is nice because with these more race orientated boats, they're generally sailing with higher tech sails, lower stretch materials, and you're winding the sails on very hard.
Right.
So there's so much tension on the main sheet, adjusting the traveller can be difficult.
Physically hard.
It's just a bit harder.
Yeah.
If you can just push a button, you're probably more prone to adjust the traveller.
Yep.
And it's quicker to adjust it coming out of attack.
Yep.
Yeah, this system has got lots of purchase, so it works really well. But maybe on a boat of this size, if you want to make life easy for yourself, it's a nice option to consider. Another nice thing, Dan, if you move your left knee just a bit. So on this boat, they've gone for the adjustable backstay. So this is a really nice racing feature. The mainsail trimmer can sit there, If the wind comes up, they push the button, the backstay comes on, bends the mast, straightens the forestay, makes the sails flatter.
Yep.
If you get a lull, push the other button, ease the backstay, power up the sails, power up the head sail, make the mainsail deeper.
And that's just hydraulic actuator.
Yep. And then
backstay.
that's plumbed into the boat.
Yeah.
So a nice touch on this part. They've added,
you've got buttons on both sides.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it means that you've got full control over the main, which is nice. And if you're thinking about racing, I think it's a really important option to choose.
Sure.
Really good rope blockers there.
Nice.
On a lot of boats, they put them there, but it's more of a gesture. They don't actually, they can't hold enough rope.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a nice touch. Moving aft, this is our helm position. As we found on the test sail, this is a really comfortable place to be steering the boat. You've got good visibility when you're looking forward, and then if you're on a leg for a long time, and you want to sit down, it's quite a comfortable position, and you can sit yourself here. You've got really good visibility. You're right next to the mainsail trimmer, and if you're sailing short-handed, you can actually adjust the backstay and give the backstay a little tweak. If you need to, you can ease a bit of sheet. If you want to pull a bit of sheet on, the buttons are there. So you can actually sail the boat short-handed.
Yeah.
If you wanted to take this boat out for a day with your friends who aren't sailors, get the main up, put the self-tacker on.
Put the self-tacker on, happy days.
Go for a sail. They can all sit here in the cockpit in full safety. There'll be no moving lines.
Yep.
The only sheet that will move is the main sheet.
Yep.
And that's all under deck.
And then clear of guests. You can have the cockpit cushions in, and you're all sorted.
And as we discussed in the test sail, that's the day that you tack around instead of jibing.
Yeah, sure.
Just tack the boat around. The jib will look after itself.
Yep.
You can do the main on your own.
Yep.
And just make it safe, make it fun.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got a deep lazarette here.
Okay. Let's twist yours, I think.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay. So you can see how deep that is.
Yeah.
And then we've got life raft storage in that GRP cabinet there. So that's huge. There's
and you can also see the rudder stock has got a lot of support, and you can put emergency tiller, I suppose, on top of that. But she's beefy.
Yep.
It's beefy as.
But that's really good access, because on a lot of boats, you can't put much in there.
Yeah.
But the other thing is
pass me the camera.
you can't actually access it that well.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of fenders. You can use this for all sorts. Interesting. Okay. And I note we've even got a life raft storage and deployment underneath my butt.
Yep. And that's nice too, because if you ever do need the raft, it's actually easy to deploy.
Just in here. Yeah, exactly. You're not trying to haul it out of a dangerous place in a hurry. It just slides straight out the back of the boat. And this step's a neat touch that folds out, so you really don't need a swim ladder, because you can haul. Most people could haul their butt up on this platform because she's so low.
Yeah.
Against the water.
But the other thing too is the swim ladder's living in that lazarette.
Sure.
So it's easy to get out.
Sure.
So yeah, from our helm station, we've got a compass on either side, which is a nice thing to see. Often we just see one compass because you've got to have one. Then we've got a B&G plotter here. And then on the other helm station, we've got our autopilot control. And we've got another GFD here, which is a graphic function display for the B&G H5000 system. Nice handhold here, which is a nice touch. And then we've got lockers on either side. And they're just handy, handy for stowage.
Yeah, drained.
Yep, and we've got fuel shut off, fuel stop levers there. So.
Yep, and you've got your shower here, manual bilge, and even a gas outlet if you want to put a barbie on cruising days.
Yep, so pretty well everything you could ever want.
Yeah.
And
these couldn't the other side double as an esky? Let's have a look on the starboard side.
Yeah.
Whether it's
for sure.
Because if it's drained and there's nothing electrical.
Yeah. No, for sure.
There you go. Sailing, grab a beer, downwind. Don't even have to go downstairs.
So yeah, that's It's a really well thought out, well laid out yacht.
Yeah, it's just a gorgeous thing. So I think that's probably everything we've discovered on decks. Although, does a cockpit table slot in here?
Yeah, there's a this boat's got an optional carbon fibre cockpit table.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think it's in storage.
Okay. And so the legs just slot, yeah, because that moves straight in there.
Legs slot in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and obviously our access to our rudder stock is here.
Yep.
Where you can put the emergency tiller on, say, you know, should you have a problem. I think what a lot of people forget is, say you broke one of your steering cables. You know, the panic sets in.
Yep.
You got another wheel.
Yep.
And if all else fails, put the autopilot on. Because the autopilot is
RAM.
Connected direct to the steering.
Sure.
So maybe for one of our chats, I'll tell you about the guy who lost both his wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think
that's for another time. That's for the podcast.
Okay. Awesome.
So, all right. Well, what do you think? Should we have a look down below?
I think we should. That's about it on deck. Let's do it.
Okay.
A few good handholds.
Yeah. That's nice to see.
And actually, I see.
Yeah, up here as well.
Goes the whole length.
Yep.
Well, it's a nice feel down here, mate.
It is nice and light and airy. Some nice opening side ports, as well as an opening hatch here. So that really, you know, keeps the boat cool. It's quite muggy here today.
Sure.
And the boat feels, you know, nice and airy.
Yeah. Why don't we head to the bow? I'll follow you.
Okay.
And let's get up and have a look around.
All right.
So I suppose it's worth mentioning this is an actively raced boat, and we've taken a lot of stuff off the boat. So it's not dressed like you would see at a boat show, because the owner's been kind enough to let us use it for the day.
Exactly. And this boat, you know, races quite successfully.
Yeah.
It won the CYC Winter Series last year.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's actively raced.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty, let's get in and have a look.
Okay, no wonder it sails so well. It hasn't got a bunk. As we said, this boat races actively. The owner has removed the forward cushions so that they don't get wet, because the spinnakers actually get dropped down through this 180-degree hatch onto the bunk.
Right.
And so that's why they've got this cover here to protect the timber, which is really important for your resale value and aesthetics. You know, you've got a beautiful boat. You don't want to damage the timber.
Sure.
You know, for a couple of $100 to protect the investment, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
So normally this is a nice island bed with, you know, proper upholstered cushions on it. But as we can see, you know, this protects the investment really well.
But you can sit up in bed because we've got those two collision bulkheads.
Correct. So that sail locker really gives you a nice wide bulkhead for a proper island bed. It's nice. We've got ventilation through this hatch. We've got ventilation through the hatch above us here. There's another ventilation hatch in the head. So that really helps keep the air flowing. I mean, it's comfortable down here, and we've got this hatch shut.
Yeah, correct.
So nice touch. We've got nice hull windows here, but then they close. So when you're sleeping, you've got block-out blinds there. You've got a blind here. And what's quite common with these now is you've got a fly screen on the other side.
Yeah.
So.
And I note that you can also do the light switches here in bed. So you can jump into bed and then you can switch all the lights off. So it's everything you expect from a modern cruiser, really. Exactly.
Yeah. We've got nice storage here. So look, as we said, this is someone's boat. They've been kind enough to let us on board to show you. But we can see all the racing riggings here, a little bit of personal gear, more safety equipment. But, you know, we're not at a boat show. We actually went sailing on a proper sailing boat. So,
exactly.
You know, this is someone's pride and joy, and, you know, we thank them for their cooperation. Okay, so we've got a forward head here, if you'd like to go and have a little look. Nice, you know, electric toilet is an option. Got a really good setup here, and then a full shower, which is nice, given that this is a racing boat, or cruiser racing.
Yeah. And just below your feet, I might be able to open that, Andrew, because you've got the through holes. Just a second. So if I can have a look. There you go.
Really good access. This is for your speed, depth and speed impellers. Really important to take your speedo out, because otherwise they foul up. And when they foul up, you get a little bit of growth in there. The impeller won't spin, so your speedo is inaccurate. Yeah. It's a 1.5 minute job.
Exactly.
But it's way worth it. So moving aft, really nice saloon here. It's got a really nice feel. One thing we learnt, speaking to Andrew Withers, this boat, compared to the previous model, they've moved the mast further aft. A lot of it's to do with the fact that the boat is a jib boat. So when you go from genoas to jibs, you actually need to make the J, the measurement from the mast to the bow, longer.
Right.
To keep the sail area on the boat and keep the boat in balance.
Okay.
Otherwise, if the mast is too far forward, the mainsail gets too big.
And you got too much power coming from one end.
Which gives you a weather helm, makes the boat round up.
Okay.
But the other benefit of that is it actually gives you good access when you want to sit here.
Sure.
You've got room to actually get past this. So that's nice. This is the standard table. You can get an electric drop-down option.
This is solid as these legs, though.
Yeah.
So it's a good grab hold in the seaway as well.
And the other thing that's nice is there is an option to put a leaf on here, which will fold out so that you can actually sit on this side of the boat and use the table.
Yeah, cool. I suppose the only one quirky thing from a cruiser's perspective, which is not this market, is that the mast cuts out some communication.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not who we're aiming
Look,
at.
exactly. That's you're buying a boat like this to sail.
Yeah. These go all the way forward and aft.
Yep.
So plenty of storage there. And actually, if you jump up, Andrew,
Yep.
I noticed all the boat's batteries were accessible under here.
Yep. That's really good access.
Yep.
Again, keeping in the thought process with a company like Grand Soleil, keeping the weight low and central. The batteries are really heavy.
Yeah.
And so if you can keep them near the middle of the boat,
Yep.
it really helps, centre the weight.
And for those of you that are not familiar with keel-stepped rigs, I suppose that's good to see, because we can also see the weight or the distribution from the keel to the hull join via these plates.
Exactly, with massive bolts, nuts and bolts. The other thing that's interesting...
Not all boats do that. A lot of them just do washers.
Exactly. But what's nice with this is you've got a really good sized plate, very, very heavy. And look, it's only a small thing, but everything's numbered. But as this is the performance version with the carbon fibre masts, what you can do on this boat is it's got a mast jack.
Right.
And you can adjust the tension of the rigging by putting... let me have a look at the setup here. Yeah, okay, if you just want to hone in on this, we actually put a thing called a jacking bar through here, and then we have a little hydraulic pump with two jacks on it, and we can actually pump the mast up.
Yep.
And what happens is when we pump the mast up, we take these locking pins out.
Yep.
And if you look here really closely, you can see there are little plates, and we call these shims.
Oh.
And we can adjust the tension on the rigging for the condition. So on a windy day, we put more shims in and make the rig tighter.
Yep.
And that makes the boat perform better.
Yep.
On a light day, we take the shims out and loosen the rig and make it more dynamic.
Yep.
And that really transforms the performance of the boat. So not an option when you go for the aluminium mast, but if you're looking at really racing and you want more performance, this is a really nice inclusion.
How long would it take for a couple of crew members to come down here and do that job? Could you do it in between races?
Look, a lot of it depends on
how good you are.
What racing you're doing, and if you're racing under a rule.
Right.
So under some rules, you're not allowed to adjust the mast at all. When you leave the dock, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Under some other rules, you can adjust it. Under the IRC rule, you can, but you've got to declare that you're going to adjust it.
Okay.
So generally what most people do is they pick the setting for the day.
Yep.
And then they go, okay, we think it's going to be 12 knots, so we'll go to our 12 knot setting. And then you take the jack off.
Yeah.
Because the jacks are quite heavy, so carrying them around is a bit of a penalty.
Sure.
But look, this works fine for the bulk of boats.
Cool. And we've still got the nav station.
Yeah, the chart table, and it's quite a nice functional table. What's nice with this is it's actually reasonably deep. It's not overly large, but it's deep.
Yep.
Often, they're 50 millimetres deep, and you can't put anything in them. They're just for show.
It's just everyone's phones and wallets go in here.
Exactly.
Basically. Got a little bit of charging, so you can keep some devices on charge, and more storage back here, I see. And we've actually got the VHF just behind you.
Yeah, that's a nice, neat place for it.
Yeah, and the boat's systems.
Yep, all of our 12-volt systems are there. So, again, everything's central. It makes good sense to have All of that right next to the batteries.
Yep.
We've got some blinds here, which will help black the boat out if you're sleeping,
Yep.
or you just want some privacy.
But this one's opening, and we've got two opening on that side, and I suppose that one's going to be
in the head, exactly, and
Yep.
you need that. And I bet you it's where the shower is,
Sure.
which is where you want all the steam and moisture to escape from.
Sure.
Okay, so moving to the galley. This is a pretty traditional galley. We'll run through this one first. So what have we got here? Okay, looks like just a nice little wet area to put some of your cleaning products. Twin stainless steel sinks, which is pretty standard. Yeah, top opening fridge here. That's really good access. Not too deep, which is not the end of the world, because if they're too deep, you can't get to the bottom.
Sure.
We've got good stowage here. Little garbage bin there. That's quite neat. They haven't made it too big. Obviously trying to save weight.
Yeah.
So this is a nice, neat feature we've seen on a couple of the Grand Soleils, and it's becoming more common on pretty well all boats. This cover for the stove just pivots down, which is nice. But one neat feature is they've got magnets here, and they just hold that in place.
Yeah.
So you don't have the thing banging around.
And because this is gimbaled, meaning the stove will move when the boat is on a heel.
Exactly. So we've got an oven with 2 burners. Doesn't look like the burners have ever been used.
I don't think they have. That's a common one.
It is. There's no marks there. So.
And nice high fiddles around the side, so it's actually practical when you're on a heel.
And that's what we saw. That's what we saw on the Grand Soleil 46 the other day.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Nice practical thing. Good storage here. Obviously some.
That's handy.
Yep.
It's all stainless steel lined, and so you can just throw things there.
Yeah,
again,
but
when
also
you're on a heel.
what's nice is you can take it out to clean.
Sure.
A lot of things they go, oh, that'll be great.
Yeah.
But you can't get in there to clean them.
Yep.
What have we got here? Maybe that's a pin.
Let's not force it if we don't know.
No. Okay. Got some drawers here. Okay, that's a decent cutlery drawer there. Nice and deep. Again, often the drawers on boats, they make them so shallow you can't really use them. So all in all, this works really well. Andrew Withers from Grand Soleil told me that they do a racing galley,
Right.
which is not as wide here. And so it's actually, I don't know how far it moves off the centre line, but it gives you more room to put sails through here. So
Right.
this part of the settee is narrower as well.
And then you're cutting out a bit of weight in the boat.
Well, the main thing is it gives you access to stool sails.
Sure.
Because, if you're sailing in heavy air, you want the sails aft.
Yep.
And if it's lighter, you want to move them forward. So you need to, it just means you're not going to, you've got better access, but you're not going to damage the timber work dragging sails past it.
Sure.
So
we might as well have a look in one of those cabins.
Yeah, while I'm standing right here. So this is a pretty standard, aft cabin layout for a boat of this type. Got a double berth here. If you're racing, well, I see here they've actually got a connection point here for a lee cloth.
Oh, yep.
So
Perfect.
these bunks are divided, so there'd be a lee cloth that sits in here. So when you're sailing in a race or a delivery and the boat heels over, you can actually lean against the lee cloth. So that's a nice feature. We've got our water tanks under this bunk. We've got our fuel tank under the other one.
Yep.
And there's an option for an additional water tank in the bow.
Yep.
And look, if you're racing, you just wouldn't have it full. But if you're cruising, you can add that water to give you a bit more range. We've got two decent cupboards here. Good stowage there and good hanging space here. So as we said, this is an owner's boat and he has all of his safety equipment on board.
And we can get cross-flow ventilation from that hatch and that one. They're pretty good size.
They're a good size. Yeah, often they make them small. And we've also got side access to the engine compartment.
Yep.
And I'm sure that it's on both sides. It'll be in exactly the same position. As we've mentioned a million times now, this is someone's boat. So when we go and have a quick look at the starboard aft cabin, you will see some equipment there.
Yep.
But they've been kind enough to lend us their boat, so we're not going to move everything just to show you the identical thing on the other side.
Exactly.
So if we just go through, it's the same layout, and we can see there's some gear, some safety equipment, but identical mirror image.
Now this was cool. I'm going to open, if I can remember how to get in here. Oh, like so. Okay, so you've got a little locker in this separate shower. You could even put a small washing machine in here.
You could,
if you
but
wanted
you know
to.
what I like is this can be your wet locker. So if you are racing, you've got somewhere to hang the safety harnesses, the wet weather gear. But you know the main thing that this is designed for is to be a shower recess.
Exactly,
and it's a really good size.
We do have that hatch immediately above the shower where all the steam can evacuate, so that works.
And then, you know, pretty common sort of layout for the rest of the head. Electric toilet.
Good amount of space though.
Yeah, it feels nice and light and airy.
Yeah. Yep. Storage, proper separate stand-up shower. No complaints there.
No, and there's obviously some pop-on blinds that go against those windows for privacy when you're in the head.
Yeah.
Which you'd expect. So yeah.
So let's check out the engine access.
Okay.
All right.
It's not a two-man job. It's on gas struts.
Exactly.
Okay. Now this is a really point of difference. Now the one thing we've seen quite different on all the boats we've looked at over the last couple of weeks is the engine access varies vastly from boat to boat.
Yeah.
This is exceptional access. Yep, so we've got a 50 horsepower Volvo Penta D250. It's on a sail drive, and as we mentioned earlier, it's got a 2-blade racing Gory propeller. Pushes the boat along really well because it's an easily driven hull. You know, it's a performance boat, so you don't need a massive engine, you don't need a massive prop.
Correct.
But yeah, really good access to everything. As we mentioned, there's access from either side. Quite good sound insulation here.
Yep.
But the sound test and the motoring test will really tell us what it's all about.
Exactly. And the other little thing, if anyone notices this is where you would punch a fire extinguisher through in an emergency, so you don't actually have to open this whole hatch and expose yourself to flame. So if there was an engine fire, you just the nozzle through there and release the extinguisher.
This has become common practice. It's probably even part of the EC regulations.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And it's such a simple thing because
pump that in, the fuel shut off.
Yep. The one thing fire loves is oxygen.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that probably covers the whole interior. I reckon we head on deck and wrap this up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, before it rains on us.
Ladies first.
Thanks, mate. All right, Andrew, that was a lot of fun once again.
Yeah, it was.
Can't complain these days on Sydney Harbour. Beautiful boat. If you haven't already seen the sailing test sail, that is in the video description on the channel page. What are your thoughts? Once again, who is the best person for this boat?
Me.
Yeah, I know you like this sort of thing.
No. Look, it's going to be someone who's had a boat before more often than not.
Yeah.
Someone who's after a bit more performance, a bit more quality, maybe wants to take their sailing further afield.
Yep.
Need a bit more range to maybe go to the Whitsundays, go to Hamilton Island or Airlie Beach.
Yep.
Yeah, and someone who really wants good quality, good performance.
So if we were going to put this boat in a box, because you are going to see at the boat show vessels larger and with a lot more volume and arguably more luxuries for a lower price than something like this. But it's all about defining what box we put these boats in.
Sure.
If we were to use other boat brands, for example, can you name a couple of boat brands that you would box this one in a similar category?
Yeah, look, I mean, Grand Soleil is a very well-known mark.
Yep.
In the performance area.
Yep.
So if you're looking at a boat like this, you'd probably also be looking at an X-Shot.
Yep.
Or a Solaris.
Yep.
Yeah, in that realm.
So it's not your mass market production French boat.
Well, mass production any country.
Yeah.
It's really hard because you can go to the boat show and go, well, this is 44 feet long, that's 44 feet long.
Exactly.
How come that one is
so much more expensive?
So much more. It's what you want to do with it. So do your research.
Yep.
Do your homework.
What's your mission? Ask that question all the time.
What do I want to do with the boat? And as I said, it's probably not going to be your first boat, but if it is, just do the homework. And the one thing I always say with boats, with sailing yachts, it's a numbers game.
Yep.
Weight, ballast.
Yep.
Hull form.
Yep.
If the numbers are good on paper, very good chance it's going to be a good boat.
Yeah. Totally.
But yeah, this is a great sailing yacht, and yeah, certainly on anyone who's looking at that in that area.
Yep.
This boat is well worth consideration.
Mate, that's awesome. So guys, if you are wanting to seek some professional advice and perhaps do those numbers, if this is not an experience that you have gone through before and you're looking for a little bit of guidance, that's essentially what we're here for, and that's Andrew's speciality. So check him out on Connect. That's where you can ask some questions. You can even go all the way up to a video call if you'll find that useful. So the link is down below in the description. I really hope that was valuable to you, and we're going to pop up another yacht that could be a competitor or at least a similar size for you to have a look at on the screen right now. Thanks again. Subscribe, share it with your mates. If you enjoy this content and you want to see more, that'll give us an indication to get out and film some more.
Exactly. So thanks again. See you next time.
Andrew.